What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, November 20th, 2019. Using a new streaming software, so I'm going to give it just a minute. I want to see somebody come in here, comment that you can hear me, that you can see me, that you can see my screen once I get to that point, and then we'll get started. So if you're a replay viewer, thank you so much for coming by. You can go down to the pinned comment below, hit the timestamp, and you can kind of go right to the beginning of the technical analysis, Bitcoin part of the video. I really appreciate all of you coming by today. And JPal says, I can see and hear you. Dude, that's all I needed. Kelly, everything is perfect. What's up, everybody? The title of this video, Big Bitcoin Move Coming. Kind of generic, kind of hype. Is it clickbait? I don't know. I think once a week, I could easily post that title to a video and we can realize the fact that it's true. There really is a big Bitcoin move coming. It's what Bitcoin does, everybody. It's just a matter of mentally being prepared for every single one of those moves. That's really as simple as it is. And I wanted to do this video to talk about the next big Bitcoin move that is coming, because it's coming, and I hope you're ready for it. Notice how I didn't say it's up or down, but we know one is coming. And we're going to look at the technicals to get an idea of either or. What's up, Assad Harari? I see you. Papa Ernie is in the house. Literally, Papa Ernie is visiting us, and he's here. He's actually upstairs right now. I'm in the studio downstairs. Papa Ernie, what's up? I'll see you in a few minutes. So I really appreciate everybody coming by. I'm going to kind of jump into the video. So let's do it. Let's jump into the video. I'm liking this new streaming software. It's way easier to read everybody's comments. So here we go. This is Bitcoin chart, and I want to start with a couple things. Number one, this was a tweet from the other day. Well, this was 2 days ago. I tweeted, I bought more Bitcoin today. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll buy a little Bitcoin and I'll tweet when I'm buying, just because I know I do a lot of technical analysis. I don't always say when I'm buying. But I bought a little Bitcoin the other day. And the reason for that is basically based on this tweet. If you're not on Twitter, I tweeted this November 6th, right? 14 days ago. I'm prepared for Bitcoin to dip to $7,900 to $8,500. This is when we were at $9,200, by the way. This has turned into a heavy accumulation area for me. In my opinion, this would set up Bitcoin for its move to break recent 14,000 swing high. I'm not rereading this tweet to be like, hey, everybody, look at me. I guessed that we were going to fall into this range. I'm not doing that at all. I'm doing this because I want to just kind of track the consistency of technical analysis, in particularly Fibonacci retracement, how reliable it often is, and how it plays into my own strategy of accumulating. So we hit our Fibonacci retracement area. This is what it looked like back then when we were at $9,200. There's that green rectangle I was waiting to fall into before buying some Bitcoin. And since then, if we go to the, I guess we can go to the 4-hour chart real quick just to show you what has happened. And I'll take out the Fibonacci to show you that exact move. We've fallen into that green channel, right? So I bought a little Bitcoin the other day when we pretty much fell deeper into that channel. And I track that because it's so important. I really want to be transparent in my approach to Bitcoin. And part of that is accumulating and buying the dips. Now, I have to say that while we're in the support range, potential support range, right? We could bounce off of this. We can see something very bullish. At the same time, Bitcoin could very well continue down. And I really can't highlight that enough. So while I accumulated some Bitcoin, I bought a little Bitcoin right here. It definitely was not my heavier buy range. We talk about $6,400, $6,500. I've talked about this probably since early October. That is the heavier area of accumulation, the heaviest area of accumulation for me. I will buy a lot more Bitcoin down there if we get there. We might not get there. And that's based on a couple different reasons. So I want to go to this tweet. Many think, this was from yesterday, many think this 40% dip since June is the dismantling of Bitcoin. They don't realize this is the bull market setup. And I can't stress that enough. And maybe this 40% dip turns into a 50% dip, right? 60% dip. It doesn't matter to me. The truth is, this is literally, we're in the setup. We're in this extremely healthy move for Bitcoin to enter that bull market. And I see so many people, kind of freaking out about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's tanking. Bitcoin's still in the bear market. Here's a perfect example. This was literally from an article today on Forbes. Bitcoin is crashing again. I mean, do you get my point? Bitcoin is crashing again. And then we look at the chart and we zoom out, and it's almost crickets in this last month. It's a 40% move since June, right? But in the last month alone, it's like a 15% move. It's almost nothing for Bitcoin. And people freak out in these moves. And I can't stress enough, this is a setup for Bitcoin to enter a bull market. Again, we might go a little bit more down, and I'll track that in a second or in a few minutes. But beware of articles like this, especially if you're new to Bitcoin. This instills fear into the markets where actually there's way more opportunity. There should be more fear in Bitcoin trading markets when Bitcoin is up 50% or when Bitcoin is at the top of a bull market. Like, December 2017, there should be fear in the market in an environment like that. But there should not be fear in a market when Bitcoin is so oversold and on its way out of a bear market. And this article mentions, now that's, they're talking about this chart up here, but they're saying that's a pretty clear picture. Bitcoin is tanking towards a capitulation. That bottom looks to be quite near in terms of time, but the bottom is hard to call. Here are some ideas. So their main technical analysis is essentially taking this support area around $6,000. Everybody remembers $6,000 before we capitulated into the bottom of bear market. They're basically taking that line and saying, okay, we have support there. I never like doing that. I never like taking data that is, a year old and calling support somewhere around that area. But they're essentially saying, hey, we have support at that line, and then we have a potential, if I can get my brush, we have a potential higher low from the bear market low, right? So here's a bear market low back here. Here's our support line. We come down there, we hit it, and then boom, there's Bitcoin's, move, right? This would be a longer term higher low. Now, my technical analysis actually does speak to a higher low, and I wanted to get to that now. So let's kind of jump into technical analysis part of this video. And we'll start here. This is the weekly chart, everybody. And again, I said it's zoomed out. It almost looks like this little move that Bitcoin is in right now in the last month, 15% down right there. It's like crickets, right? It's like you're in Twitter, you're in YouTube comments, people are freaking out. People are like, oh my goodness, another, Bitcoin just keeps going down. And we're down 15% in a month. Bitcoin makes those moves in minutes, everybody. And so when you zoom out on the chart, there's no more noise, right? You get a full, clear picture of what's going on for Bitcoin. And what is that clear picture? It's continuation in terms of Bitcoin to the upside. The clear picture tells the story of Bitcoin exiting a bear market, right? And it's so consistent with what it looked like back in 2015 into 2016 and exiting that bear market and what that looks like, right? We're getting a very clear picture. And we're just tracking this daily. But it's always good to zoom out on the charts to get a better idea of what Bitcoin is doing and how healthy and consistent it looks. The more harmony we find in the charts with past data, the better it is for us. Because really, when you're doing technical analysis, that's all you have. You have past data. You try and find consistencies. You try and find patterns. You try and find these things that repeat over and over again. And we really do see those things. And so we're on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. And you can see this. This is what I want to show you. I talked about that tweet from November 6th, I think it was, right? Was it November 6th? November 6th, I'm pretty sure. And in that tweet, I talked about this. This is the current move that we're in, a swing low, October 23rd to a swing high, like a couple days later, back down to Fibonacci retracement. Support, potential potential reversal from this downtrend we've been in since June. And I likened it to a move that Bitcoin had out of the bear market because the charts, they look so very similar. And I want to show you this. So let me see if yeah, you can still see. Let me see. I want to make sure you can still. Hold on one second, everybody. No, you can't see the price. So I'm not going to do that because my last video, I screwed that up. So look at the similarities between back here. This was the bear market low and this previous move Bitcoin has been in, right? So essentially, same exact thing. Take our Fibonacci from that bear market low to its very quick swing high, right? It was like up to $4,200 from $3,100 fairly quickly. Back down to our Fibonacci retracement. We had a higher low for Bitcoin right here. It was the bottom of a symmetrical triangle. Then we kind of cruised up, and that was our higher low, and then we exited the bear market. That's what it looked like. And it played out perfectly in the 4-hour chart. You know, nobody could guess that was going to happen when we're kind of capitulating down here to $3,100. People are freaking out. People are talking about $1,500 Bitcoin bear market low. And it just happened so quick, right? We turned around so quick. It was a very quick reversal. And this is a 4-hour chart, by the way. But similarly, we have a very, similar move potentially, right? We have this downtrend in Bitcoin. And I mentioned this before. This 4-hour chart looks so much like the weekly chart zoomed out, and it looks so much like the weekly chart zoomed out in terms of here's our December 2017 bull market high, right? And then we fell into our bear market, and here's like $6,000. Do you remember? And then we fell into the bottom of the bear market, boom, and then here's $3,100. This 4-hour chart looks almost identical to a zoomed out daily chart, zoomed out weekly chart in terms of the whole Bitcoin cycle. But this is just a 4-hour chart from June. But it paints a very reflective picture of Bitcoin making a similar move to literally what it did if you zoom out now on the 4-hour chart going back to 2017 high. It paints a similar picture. It's not guaranteed that we're going to have the exact similar move, but Bitcoin does move in harmony with itself, in reflecting itself in the charts very often. And that's data that I use as part of my technical analysis. So that's what I'm sharing with you right now. So Machouse says, is this live or pre-recorded live? This is live. So we are live. We're discussing Bitcoin live. So here we are. We're at this Fibonacci area, and I want to. So we see the similarities in the charts. Bitcoin bear market low, right, hitting that 4-hour retracement and then bouncing, right. We see the similarities there. But what I want to do is I want to go now and I want to look at two things. I want to look at the weekly stock RSI and these momentum oscillators. And so if we take a glance at these momentum oscillators down here at the bottom of my screen, almost next to my video down here, look at the similarities in terms of these Fibonacci retracements. So let me expand the weekly chart a little so you get a better idea. So opening that up. So if you look at the chart now, here's our Fibonacci. Now we're on the weekly, so it looks a little different than the 4-hour, but here's our swing low, right? And here's Bitcoin retracing to the Fibonacci retracement, 618 to 786 channel. And here it is on the stock RSI, this momentum oscillator. Now, here we go again. Swing low on the weekly. Bitcoin retracing this time to its 618 to 786 Fibonacci channel. And here it is on the stock RSI. So what you see here is Bitcoin putting in its swing low on the stock RSI, very oversold, right? Coming to its swing high on the Fibonacci retracement, and then consolidating back down a little bit to hit the 618 to 786, and then continuation. Right now, coming out of oversold, and this is oversold on the weekly stock RSI. Can't stress that enough, everybody. Oversold on the weekly stock RSI. Pretty much, it doesn't even take a technical analyst. It doesn't take anybody that's really even looked at your charts before to open up this indicator, zoom out for like the history of Bitcoin, and say pretty much every time Bitcoin has been oversold on the stock RSI on the weekly chart, if you accumulated Bitcoin in that area and you looked at nothing else, you just saw Bitcoin's in that area, the stock RSI oversold, and you bought Bitcoin, you would see gains. Even in a down market, even in a downtrend going into a bear market, you see these nice bounces, right? That take place over like a month's time. So you could have traded out of that with some nice gains every time Bitcoin has been in the oversold environment. So Bitcoin just came out of oversold environment similar to the bear market low, and we hit a swing high, and now we've come back down same exact way, consolidated on the stock RSI in terms of hitting that 618 to 786 Fibonacci retracements. So the similarities are again so on point with the current Bitcoin move. So there is a strong case that Bitcoin's next move will be after 4 weeks of downtrend, 15% down, and we're hitting this very key Fibonacci. Now we can go to the daily chart to paint even a clearer picture from the weekly. There's a very strong case that Bitcoin might see support where it is right now, namely at this green rectangle, Fibonacci support, similar to the bear market low. There's a strong case that Bitcoin will break back above the 50 moving average on the daily, which you see here. We're below the 50 moving average. It's another similarity in terms of the charts. Below this blue line is a 50 moving average, right? Bitcoin doing some grappling with it before exiting the bear market. Currently, Bitcoin struggling under the 50 moving average in this key Fibonacci area. So there's a strong case that Bitcoin's next move will be similar to what happened at the bottom of the bear market, getting back above that 50 moving average, right? And making its way to test the 200 moving average like it did in April 2nd, I guess. April 1st, April 2nd. And there's a strong case for that happening. Now, if we look at the daily stock RSI, because we were just looking at the weekly stock RSI, again, you notice some similarities, right? So here's our swing low that we just had back in end of October, right here. I mean, literally right around the 20 line on the stock RSI. Here's our bear market swing low, the bottom of the bear market, right around 20 on the stock RSI, right? With a quick bounce into overbought, and then similar now, quick bounce into overbought. That's our swing high. And then right back down currently into oversold to visit our Fibonacci retracement area, this green triangle. And the same thing happened then. We came all the way down into oversold to visit our key Fibonacci retracement. And that's just a healthy looking higher low. So I'm doing a lot of talking, and pretty much this whole video has been about this Fibonacci retracement area, because for me, it truly is. It's probably, in terms of like when I'm buying Bitcoin, the most important thing to me, because if you're looking at Bitcoin and you're trying to figure out, and this is the hardest thing for pretty much most people to figure out, and that is this, when do I buy Bitcoin? Like, when should I buy Bitcoin? And you have to find your approach in terms of doing that. But my approach is this: that Fibonacci area, if you're looking at, trying to mess around with this. That's pretty cool. So if you're trying to buy Bitcoin, you have to find your entry points. And for me to leave all emotion out of these markets, to do that basically looks like this. And I'll just open the daily chart and show you. First entry point for me, usually almost always looks like Bitcoin being oversold on the stock RSI daily chart. Here we are, right? And then in this very key potential support, falling into a Fibonacci retracement area. When I see similarities of Bitcoin making similar moves, like we just tracked this back in the bear market low, I kind of get a little bullish. I feel a little bullish. However, there's a lot of other technicals that are playing into my heavier accumulation zone. So I just talked about, oversold on the daily stock RSI in a key Fibonacci, maybe buy a little Bitcoin. That's me, right? Leaving all emotion out of it. That's me. But there's even a bigger part of my technical analysis in terms of buying. And that is, well, when's Bitcoin going to really capitulate? When's Bitcoin going to really just be way too oversold and just such a good opportunity to buy? And that's that next entry point for me. So what that would look like is pretty simple. Here's Bitcoin. And let me actually take this Fibonacci out again because it paints the picture. Here's our Fibonacci. I'm saying, okay, Dan, buy some Bitcoin, right? It could keep going lower. We might get continued resistance under this blue 50 moving average line. We could go lower, but buy some Bitcoin. Are you comfortable with it? How much are you comfortable with? These are questions you should ask yourself. And then you buy some Bitcoin if you're comfortable. That's what I do. Buy some Bitcoin. That's why I posted the other day. I said I bought more Bitcoin today, 2 days ago, because we fell into a buy zone for me. Not a crazy heavy buy zone at all. But the next buy zone is kind of a crazy heavy buy zone. And that plays into a lot of different things. I did a video in October, I think October 9th, if you want to go check it out. Pretty sure it was October 9th, maybe the 8th, about $6,400 being the bottom for Bitcoin in terms of mining costs and miners involved in the technical portion of how price could bottom or see a floor at $6,400. But also, importantly, we have this breakout target, which is still in play from this symmetrical triangle in September down to $6,500, right around the $6,400 that we just talked about, right? So I have a target still in play, and this is my heavy buy zone. This is when I will tweet again. I really just bought heavily on Bitcoin. Will we get there? I don't know. I mentioned I'm more feeling bullish in the short term because of the similarities in what Bitcoin's doing right now. But I'm 100% aware of the fact that Bitcoin could fall into the 6,000s, can hit its target out of the symmetrical triangle that we broke out of in September. And what you see here happening is this. And I love tracking patterns like this. You see Bitcoin has fallen out of the symmetrical triangle, like right at the apex, right? It didn't hit its target of $6,500. Right? We kind of started bouncing. We came down 6,300 or so. And then we quickly, remember this day was just some crazy gains. Bitcoin tested the lower trend line now in end of October, testing the lower trend line from the end of September when it broke out. We didn't break it. We always look to retest the trend line. We didn't break it. We came back down, and now we're at a key Fibonacci support. There's still chance for Bitcoin to basically break that trend line, and that's extremely bullish. But there's also still a target in play down around $6,500, and that's something we just have to be very mindful of. And this, for me, anything under $7,000 from where we are right now, and from where I see the momentum oscillators. If you go to the daily chart, here's the momentum oscillators. Almost oversold on the RSI, not quite there yet, but the stock RSI oversold. Here's the weekly, just above the 40 line on the RSI. I truly believe Bitcoin's putting in a higher low on this RSI momentum oscillator. Could it be right now? Possibly. Could it be down around 40? Possibly. Anywhere in that area is just such a good buy zone. If Bitcoin on the stock RSI weekly does fall back down into this oversold area you see right here, anywhere in this region and oversold on the weekly stock RSI, I'll be buying heavily on Bitcoin. And if that happens, I do believe that will happen fairly soon, and it'll be an event where we're kind of in the 6,000s quick. And I don't know how long we'll be there, but I don't foresee it would be a long time. And it's a great opportunity for people to accumulate more Bitcoin. And I just, this is not financial advice at all, but that's that fearful environment where I get most excited. I really do, because at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, I zoom out on this chart, or actually here's a better one. I zoom out on this chart and I say to myself, what is Bitcoin doing right now? It's oversold, right? If we get to that, we're already pretty much in an oversold environment, but if we get to that extremely oversold environment, and then even on the weekly chart here, you can see this blue line, that's the 50-week moving average, the low 7,000s. If we're revisiting that, if we're testing that, and we're oversold, and Bitcoin's putting in a higher low, and it's down 40, 50% plus or from our swing high in June, it's just such a good opportunity to buy Bitcoin, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. This is not financial advice. I'm sharing with you all the data that I, possibly have and that I use for purchasing Bitcoin and accumulating Bitcoin. And that's what it looks like for me. I'm always buying the dip, always interested in looking to accumulate Bitcoin. And if you're wondering why the price on this chart is, this is a day behind. This is a day behind on the Bitcoin charts. This is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. This is my long-term speculative chart that I posted back in December 2018, almost literally at the bear market low. And you can see Bitcoin, on its way. And unfortunately, how did I end up deleting this line? I had a line. I wonder if, let's see. Curious to see. It's still there. So it's still on the original post. Here's the line for Bitcoin extending from, September 2019, Bitcoin exiting. And we're really on its way, on its trajectory, speculative trajectory, but on its way nonetheless. And we have to be patient. So these are my thoughts. There is a big Bitcoin move coming, everybody. There is. The question is, are you ready for it no matter what direction it is? We just kind of laid the groundwork, especially for the bullish idea of Bitcoin getting a bounce off of this Fibonacci retracement area, similar to bear market low. And a bounce off of this area could be, could lead us in the next, I would say 30 to 45 days into some extremely exciting times. Bitcoin potentially in the next couple months retesting this area. And this area is the area of all areas to watch for Bitcoin. That is the bull market doors. We're not in the bull market yet. I've been saying this since the bear market low, since we exited the bear market. We're not in the bull market yet, but this is it. The doorway, this big green door to the bull market is this long-term cycle of Bitcoin, Fibonacci, resistance right here up to $16,000 down to around $13,000. If Bitcoin breaks that area, we will be on our way into some bullish Bitcoin gains. So those are my thoughts, everybody. Wanted to share a video with you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day. Hang in there. Be patient. These things take time for Bitcoin. I hope you know that. Press 1 real quick if you're bullish. Press 2 if you're bearish. Press 1 if you think we're getting ready to bounce into a bullish environment. Press 2 if you think we're going into the 6,000s. Just really curious of sentiment of all you cool folks out there. And it looks like we have some ones cruising in. Mr. Sandeep with a 2. 2. Again, not surprised, almost 50-50 it seems. Maybe a little bit more bullish, but seems almost 50-50. Joshua Key says, one more dip, 6K, I think. If it happens, if we're in the 6,000s, I don't even need to tweet it, but I will. I will be buying Bitcoin. It would be an incredible opportunity to buy more cheap Bitcoin. And look, this is all speculative. This is all a risk. There's no guarantee that Bitcoin will continue the long-term parabolic gains that we've enjoyed over the years. However, I think it will. So those are my thoughts, everybody. I really hope you have a great rest of the day. If you're here right now and you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love, to grow in this space with you, to grow into the bull market with you. And if you're here right now, hit that like button. It really means a lot to me if you enjoyed this video. And I really do hope you have a great rest of the day. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.